West Michigan's largest intern event returns in person in an effort to place young professionals in the workforce again here in West Michigan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV Live Desk. Joining me this morning is the Executive Director of Hello West Michigan, Rachel Gray. Rachel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Luke.
Appreciate you taking the time here. Before we dive in a little bit, a lot of parties here involved with this event. I want to talk about your role, your background. So what is Hello West Michigan?
Yeah, so Hello West Michigan is the organization's, the region's talent attraction and retention organization. So what does that mean? It means that we help people who are interested in relocating to West Michigan. And we also work with companies and their HR teams. When they're recruiting people from outside of the area, we help with the community resources. We help those recruiters sell West Michigan, and then we're really kind of that resource for when that candidate relocates, for their significant other, for their family, to really help them feel acclimated to the community.
Now, in terms of this conference here, West Michigan Intern Connect, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So summer is such a fantastic time to experience West Michigan because we know there's so many things going on and there's so many festivals and events. And really our companies, that's when they welcome summer interns. So it's a huge time when so many people from outside of West Michigan are coming to the area to work for just this season. They're typically working professional internships. This might be the first time that they're working really in an office in the workforce during their college career. And some of them may be going to out-of-state colleges. They may be from outside of West Michigan, or they may be students from West Michigan that are home for the summer that are experiencing the region really as an adult for the first time, right? They experienced it as a kid growing up, but it's different when you're an adult. And so all of these young people are experiencing West Michigan for the first time. And so it is really critical that as a community that we welcome them, that we showcase what we have going on in the community and really kind of make the case to show that we're a vibrant area and that this is a place where they want to be when they have that job offer or after graduation.
Tell me a little bit now about just the partnership between the two.
So Hello West Michigan has hosted Intern Connect for 9 years. It actually came out of another event previously called the West Michigan Intern Olympics, which was put on by a bunch of companies, a bunch of intern coordinators that just wanted a fun event for their interns to engage in. You know, so many of our companies have very strong internship programs in West Michigan, and that doesn't just mean coming in at 8 a.m., doing your work, and going home at 5. Our companies build really robust programs that include professional development, includes learning about the community, a lot of times community service, and really having some fun with their fellow interns. And so, you know, for these companies that have, you know, maybe 1 or 2 interns or even up to 100 interns, they do programming all summer long. And so Intern Connect is really the program that we put on to help supplement what companies already have going on in their summer internship program. So for large companies who already have a lot, this is a great thing to add to their calendar. For small companies who don't put a lot together with their calendar or just don't have the mass, right? They don't have a huge group of interns to work with. This is a great way to get those interns out, to get them some professional development if you don't have it on your own calendar.
Now, this is the first year, obviously the past couple years have been interesting for any event, but this is the first year where we're having an in-person option in the past 2 years.
Yes, that's right. We're so excited to be back in person. It has been virtual for the last 2 years. So we're pumped. I mean, the energy that comes from this event is just absolutely incredible. And for young people, an in-person environment is really important. You know, it's great that they've gotten this hybrid experience over the last 2 years, but remote work during COVID was really different than what real remote work is. In fact, if you talk to anyone who worked remotely before COVID, they'll tell you that. COVID remote work was like forced stay at home. Yeah. You weren't going to networking events, you weren't getting out, you weren't meeting people, you weren't being a part of the community. And so for young people that now are experiencing the hybrid workforce for the first time, it is so important that they understand that they can go out to these networking events, that they learn how to meet other individuals and to really start to build that professional network.
So give me a breakdown here of the events at this conference, you know, speakers, the networking, specific opportunities that will be there.
So we have a great agenda put together for Intern Connect on June 15th. So we're going to open with a keynote conversation with Catherine Baker. She is the Manager of Diversity and Inclusion at Meyer. And really what we're going to be talking about is turning concerns and turning really this unknown situation that young people are going into confidence. How can they own that situation and really take that and run with it? A lot of students are feeling this kind of real unease as they head into the workforce because these last 2 years have just been so weird. They were expecting more preparation. They thought it would go back to normal. And as you and I know, that's not really what's happened, right? We've moved to a new normal. And so really what we want interns to understand is that everyone goes through that change and we all have to embrace it. So that'll be our opening keynote. After that, we're gonna have a great speaker called Dondre Brown. He's gonna be speaking about finance. Personal finance is such an issue. It's a topic that comes up all the time at Intern Connect because students are out there on their own. They're getting their first paycheck. They need to understand how to handle their personal finances. And that's such a big piece of adulting. And this is a topic that has come up in years past in Intern Connect. And so we wanted to dedicate an entire session to it. So Dondre is going to be doing a little bit of a game show with our attendees about that one. And then we'll also have a networking break, of course, so they can make those connections. And then we're going to have 2 panels. So one panel is actually going to be of recruiters, and it's going to be led by a recent graduate. So a student, a recent grad, is going to be talking and asking all of the burning questions that students want to know when they are doing their job search, right? Everyone wants a peek behind that curtain. They want to know what's happening in the HR office. They want to know, what does HR want to see from me as I am searching for a job? And so we're going to ask them. So we're really excited about that. That's a new one for this year. And then we're going to close out with our most popular session. It is a young professional panel on adulting. So really, it's spilling the tea on what is it like to be a young professional. It's pretty unfiltered, and we answer questions from the audience. This is a session that we've always had as part of this Intern Connect conference, and it is definitely our most popular.
So we have that in-person conference again next week, but we also do have virtual options, correct? Like later in the summer here?
That's exactly right.
Can you tell me, we have a graphic actually up right now talking about some of those dates as well as the venue for the live event next week, but will you share a little bit about those virtual dates and when they are?
So we knew that, especially with COVID, that networking was just not happening for young people like it used to. We wanted to make sure that they got the opportunity to meet with more professionals. And so this was something that we added during our virtual COVID years, but we've actually continued it because it's been such a success. And so these are virtual connection sessions. Basically, they're networking events, but they happen on Zoom. And what we do at Hello West Michigan is we actually reach out to our network. We reach out to people that we know, other professionals in the community. We ask them to be a part of these events, and then students log on the date and time of these events, and they get to just chat with professionals. They get to, see what that networking is all about. And we are still doing that part virtually because it makes it just a little bit easier to fit it into a busy schedule. We know that a lot of companies are still short-staffed. We know that interns have really busy workloads on their desk for this summer. So we did keep that part virtual, but it's a great way to show you can both do in-person networking and virtual networking and really make the most of your time. So there's 4 of those virtual connection sessions throughout the rest of the summer, hopefully before the interns leave, before school starts.
In your position, as an expert in talent placement, how important is it just to have something like this, whether it is the in-person event next week or the continued virtual events?
Having events like West Michigan Intern Connect is so critical, not only for the companies who are participating, but really for our region. What's so interesting about what I do, I've been in this role for 9 years now, and really talent and what we kind of refer to as talent has really changed during COVID. I think it's become really mainstream news that there is a talent shortage, there's a worker shortage. Companies cannot find the talent that they need. And so what that means is that we either have to grow talent internally in our region through workforce development programs, or we need to attract it from outside of the area. And internships are really kind of that medium in between, right? We're growing our own talent from our own colleges, but then it's also an opportunity to attract people from outside of the area. And companies can really rely on their internship programs to be the start of their talent pipeline, right? When you think of a talent pipeline, it's really thinking about how can you get talent in each of the segments, each of the strata of your company, right? Companies need leaders, they also need doers. You need young people, you need experienced people. And internships are how you get young people. And so for a lot of our companies, internships, those convert at the end of the summer, right? There are interns who have job offers at the end of the summer. Well, when an intern gets that job offer, they're not only thinking about the company and thinking about the job, right? Like, is this what I want to do for my career? They're also thinking about the community, right? They're looking around them. They're wondering, do I want to live here in West Michigan? COVID has really helps people understand that they can move anywhere. They can be a remote worker. They can have their choice of where they want to live. So it's so critical that as a region, we are showing these young people what it is like to live here and that this is a great place to live. And so Intern Connect helps showcase that. Internships are such a critical piece of that. And then hopefully they say yes at the end of the summer.
You know, you've mentioned a few times now, and it's no secret how much COVID has stirred things up in the workforce. Retention is something that is, been a big headline recently, especially with COVID. How do you explain or how do you encourage retention among employees, especially young professionals, where most of the time they're looking for that job right out of school? After being an intern, they're there for 1-2 years, and then they're trying to get out. Mm-hmm. Companies want to retain them, and what would make them stay?
Well, that's a whole nother segment, let me tell you. Right. We can get really deep into that one. But, I think for companies, if they want their companies to be attractive, if they want these interns and young people to stay, one is showing them opportunity. Having an internship is the great first step, right? You are showing an intern, you're giving them hands-on experience to that opportunity, but then also really showcasing how can they grow within the company? Where can this job go next? And, I think for interns and for young people today, it's not just about chasing the next title, but it's also about the challenges, right? What projects are you giving them? Are they growing? Are they getting more skills? Even if maybe their role title isn't changing, do they feel like they're growing? I think those are really kind of some of the first questions that you have to be asking when you're looking to retain young talent. Also, culture is such a big one. And that really goes across the board. It's not just young people that are interested in a great culture. Anyone of any age, any worker, they want to be happy when they go to work. They want to be excited to go to work. And I think a lot of people too in this kind of remote world, hybrid world, they need a reason to go into the office, right? If you're going to say, I'd like you to be in the office when your job could also be done remote, you need to give a reason to go there. So it can't just be the same old of you come to your desk, you do your job, and then you leave. There has to be a magnetism to the office if that's where you want your people to be. And that really revolves around culture. And I can say that Hello West Michigan and our strategic partner, The Right Place, that is something that we work on with companies all the time. So if companies want to get more into that conversation, they're welcome to reach out to us because that we talk to companies all the time about some of those, and we can get very deep into that conversation.
Right. Rachel, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to put out there?
So for companies that have internship programs, there's a really easy group registration option for Intern Connect because it's coming up next week on June 15th. If you want to send all of your interns, you want to pay for them to attend, you want to make it part of the program, intern program coordinators can reach out to us directly and we can do group registration and invoice them. It makes it really easy, especially on the intern coordinators part, because we know that HR is really overworked right now, so we want to make it really easy for them. If you're a single intern watching this, maybe your company isn't involved, if you're a parent and you have a young college student or even a young professional that's 18 plus, maybe not in college but really looking to make their path, they can register on their own at hellowestmichigan.com/internconnect. A couple of our college partners are actually paying for tickets, so if you go to GVSU or Aquinas College, you can check with Career Services and they will actually give you a registration code so you can register for free. They have a handful of tickets, which is fantastic. But really, just talking to your employer. If you're an intern, talk to your employer. If you are an employer, call us and we'll help you get set up.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you tuned in maybe halfway through the stream or just now clicking in and you're watching on Facebook, there's a link attached, takes you over to woodtv.com. You can find our full conversation there. Rachel, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you around.